I'm sitting here alone, just wondering why. Why was I put here if I'm just waiting to die? Between life and death, we just be wasting our time, cause how can you live with so much shit on your mind? To tell you the truth, I ain't scared of death. Just how I'm gonna die, a bullet, disease, or a loss of breath. And death is just another phase that I'm ready for. Unknowingly, we all are, just one step through the door. A door that leads to a realm unknown to those who stay behind. Those who enter never return to reveal its secrets inside. Truthfully, there's no moving on unless we step through it. Time's running low for all of us, and you already knew it. I'm here questioning myself, questioning everything around me, and when I'm no longer here, then know that death has found me. I sit excluded from the world, wondering how to prepare myself. Death is promised. That's a fact, and it can't be helped. See, the Mexicans called me Chino. To the Chinese, I was Gook. My family thought I was acting black when I was just trying to live my truth. I was just trying to do what it do, just trying to show and prove, yeah, I'm different, y'all. But there's no difference, dog. Well, my different is the same as you. It was cops and robbers, Power Rangers, playing house like mom and dad ate, pizza squares, chicken nuggets, drank chocolate milk right out the bag, had my heart broken. 5 times by 4 girls, you could do the math. I done lost hope too many times, but more than that, I always found it back. See, my life ain't perfect. I can't imagine any other. I know that life ain't black and white. It's filled with every color. It's filled with shit. It's filled with piss, but also love. Also joy. It's filled with choices that we make. So I'd rather build than destroy. I'd rather break bread than make it. I'd rather give love than take it. I'd rather keep quiet with nothing good to say than open wide and say it. I'd rather be no hatred. I'd rather they not be racist. I'd rather no systematic oppression like what the United States is, man. I was born here, raised in the greatest, but I still demand greater like I do for myself, do for my tribe. And my tribe in all places. My tribe be all kinds, all shapes and all colors, all faces. My tribe is all one of sun. We are stars reincarnated. But yeah, I'm no saint. I could talk a good game, but I ain't. I'm just a person trying to figure out ways on how to deal with his pain. Like I'm the type to walk in the room and have everyone know me. You might think it's to be cool, but I just hate being alone. I used to daydream about my funeral with like everyone there, waiting to see if they cried to let me know that they cared. I think a lot about who missed me and all the good I done, and then now I'm back into this moment where the coulda, woulda, shoulds I run from. Like, am I even doing enough? With all the privilege I have as a heterosexual, cisgendered, middle-class man, and who am I to be complaining? Woe is me with my guilt. I ain't asked for no pity, I'm just keeping it real with my feels. Shit. My ex knows. She used to put up with this crazy. I express more in these songs than I do in conversations. Just how I honor my emotions. Honor my human. Take all I've been through and put that trauma to music. So this poetry in motion. My performance a spectacle. I give you my life story. Every song is an episode. Every verse marked with points, and each point be impeccable. But my rhymes ain't shit unless they're intersectional. So you can miss me with all that if it ain't about inclusion. I know my speech casts spells and that there's power in music. If we talking about our future, you can bet I'm gonna leave my mark on how it's influenced. Shit. I don't know a whole lot, but this much I hold true. Trillions of stars in the universe and not a one like you. So when it comes to my purpose, I'm as confident as ever. Before I exit this world, leave life better than I entered.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to First Favorite. I'm here with one of my good friends, very special guest, MaJiK MC. What up?
What up? What up? What's good, bro?
Dude.
How you living?
Thanks for coming through.
Yes, sir.
Yo, so tell us about that first piece, because I know you have a library of work, and that first one.
Yeah. You know, it might not have been my first poem, but it's the first one that I have documented.
Okay.
Yeah, it's saved in this library of all my poems that I've ever written, that I have saved. And it's the first one. Probably wrote that when I was like 14. It was like half my life ago. What is it? 15 years ago. 2004,
Dang.
2003. Sometime around then. Yeah.
Okay, so like, what was the kind of inspiration, or like, how do you feel about it now?
Yeah, I mean, you know what? I think I was like trying to. So the thing about poetry for me was always my escape. It was always my way of dealing with emotions that I didn't feel comfortable bringing up with other people. And so, like, you know, being a 13, 14, 15-year-old kid, very jubilant, you know, I'm very full of life.
Right.
Like, to a degree, like, I'm the life of the party. And so, like, when I'm with my friends, you know, I just want to be in that moment.
Right, you want to be that.
But when I'm alone, then I have all these thoughts, and, like, I don't know how to bring it up with my friends. Be like, hey, man, do you ever wonder about what happens to you when you die?
Right, like talking about actual things that should really matter.
And so I didn't have any outlet to explain what I was thinking about, and that's how poetry became that outlet to talk about the things that I wasn't comfortable with talking with other people. And so in that term is like, in that way is like, I'm different now. I've grown now. I'm able to have these conversations now. But back then, I think it was very important for my
I mean, like, just growing up a dude, I'm like a a person of color, male, is just like, where do I put these things that society tells me to not put them anywhere?
It's like, is it okay to have these feelings?
Right.
Am I wrong for thinking this way?
Right, because they automatically think, oh, you're like fucking...
Yeah, like, am I crazy? Am I insane? Am I suicidal? Am I... am I depressed? And there's nothing, and I think if there's nothing wrong, if you have these thoughts, and that you need to be able to communicate them, and I was fortunate enough to be able to find that outlet and use that platform to navigate through that.
Definitely.
So yeah, that was that first piece I was thinking about. Yeah.
And then the favorite piece you brought us, that was the what is the title of that?
It's tentatively titled Before I Exit.
Okay, and that's on the new album?
Yeah, that's on the new album. It's one of the latest pieces I wrote, and I chose that as my favorite just because, every time I write something new, it's always my new favorite. Wow. Like there's pieces that hold a certain place in my life.
Right.
But every time I come out with something new, it's just like, yo. I always discover something new about myself. Right. And so that's why that's
because you attach the memory of the how you felt to that piece, right?
Exactly. And it's it's just a new discovery for me. And this is the progress of where I am as a person right now. And
so in terms of content, where is that fall under? Because I know it's it kind of to me when I was listening to it, it's kind of the aftermath of that first piece.
It kind of is, right?
Because the aftermath, the first piece is like, oh, I just have to get it out, and I don't know if I'm doing this right.
Right.
And the second piece is like, yo, I am comfortable talking about all of this because I've grown out of all that bullshit.
Exactly.
That you know what I mean?
I don't know who's. I think it was Sarah Kay quoted someone else.
Mm-hmm.
She's a poet, and she quoted someone else in one of her talks, and she said, basically, poets write the same poem over and over and over again.
Yeah, that's true.
And honestly, that's how I feel. It's sometimes you just find a new way of saying what you've always been feeling, and so yeah, and that connection is damn. It's 15 years later, I'm still that same person. I just have a better outlook on it.
Yeah, you're still the same person, but you definitely are more comfortable with your self-awareness.
Yeah.
To figure out, hey, not only I can talk about it, but I need to talk about it.
Right. And I know how to talk about it now.
That's big. So in terms of like, you know, we see, how do you feel like you've evolved as a writer and as like a performer from your first to your favorite?
Yeah, like that was the first time I ever performed that piece. It's titled "Death Is Promised," my first poem. I've never performed that live ever.
Oh,
so that's the first time I ever performed that. That was a cold read.
We got it first, everybody. We got it first.
But in terms of technique and skill and content, you know, I love poetry so much. I love writing. I love emceeing. I love writing so much because in hip hop, there's like a competitive nature of like being better.
Right. It's the very like dog eat dog world.
Yeah. But I always used it in comparison to myself that I'm better than I was before, and so every time I come up with something new, I always feel like this refuel of my passions. Like yes, you know this is my dopest shit I ever wrote. This I'm more clear than I ever been. I'm growing as a human being.
Right.
And I've always felt that way about my new pieces.
Yeah.
And I've always said to myself, you know, the moment I no longer feel that way about something new that I create, that's when I know it's not for me anymore.
Right.
But it hasn't come yet. And so I actually have this other piece that's one of my favorite, but it's an epic. It's called Infinity. And
oh yeah, you were telling me that shit's like 10 pages or something.
It's like 10 pages long. It's just like I keep adding verse after verse after verse after verse throughout the years, and the reason why I created it is because under that principle, I just feel like I'm getting better every single time,
right?
And I feel like I can write forever.
Oh, that's crazy.
And so this piece exists as that representation of whenever I want to, I can add more verses to it,
right?
To kind of put into a little chapter of this is where I was. And then it's going to continue to grow until I stop. So,
and we're talking about like how hip hop is this very dog eat dog world. You think it carries over to poetry in a sense, amongst the like even like the male? I mean, even just like poets, right? Do you think it's a very kind of thing?
I mean, because there's competition.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, hip hop is dog eat dog in the sense of where you value things.
Yeah.
You know, and hip hop has sometimes in that doggy world mentality, it's skewed. Most of it is represented in lyricism. Who's the better lyricist? In poetry, you know, you don't have.
It's all just feelings.
It's all feelings and emotions. So everything is valid. You know, everything.
So everything has value because it exists.
So you can't really say like one person is a better poet than the other. You have slam poetry that reaches more people and stuff like that.
Right.
But at the end of the day, when you look at poetry as this art, it's supposed to represent who you are and like who's supposed to be the judge of who's.
Yeah, you can't judge that.
You can't judge someone's character, you know.
And it's crazy because this whole idea of dog eat dog, right? It does exist, and this idea of the alpha male,
right?
It exists, right? But I think personally, society has evolved from, hey, I can hunt better than you, I'm a better this than you,
right,
to now it's, I know who I am, therefore, and you don't, therefore, I am better than you. But not in that sense of like that's not the intent.
Right.
Right? It's I'm more comfortable with who I am to be able to navigate through this idea of that doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Right? This whole alpha male thing doesn't matter because I know who I am.
Right.
And I know where
I know that my journey,
my values and my ethics are like in this place, no matter what happens. I mean, how do you feel about that?
Yeah. I think as a society we've grown out of that hunter-gatherer necessity.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
So we have to recreate our value system of what is of value to us and how do we value ourselves.
Do you think that's happened yet, or it's
I think that's what's starting to
happen? Okay.
And that's what's starting to happen because, you know, before I started making music and performing and all that stuff and finding value in myself in that.
Yeah.
You know, my parents wanted me to be this and that, and they wanted they had their own set of values that they thought were important.
Yeah.
And being unable to meet those standards kind of like makes you feel a certain type of way of where your value is.
Yeah.
And I think right now we're in the middle of finally realizing like we create our own value and like no one else is able to determine that for us.
Right.
Yeah, I think we're in the middle of that because we have an abundance of things and that the hunter gatherer mentality and the mentality of previous generations is all operated under a sense of scarcity. Like we don't have enough, so we have to do this, we have to do that. And this
in order to get your slice, you got to take someone else's slice. Yeah.
But I think we're slowly starting to realize there's enough to go around.
We create the enough. We create the abundance.
And so we just have to figure out, what we have to offer in order to contribute to one another instead of taking from one another.
Right.
It's like, hey, this is what I have, this is what you have, and it's like, hey, how do we make this work? And as a cohesive ecological system.
Yeah. I was just thinking of the word ecological.
I don't know if I use that
ecosystem.
Ecosystem.
Ecological system.
A cohesive ecosystem.
Right. Well, thanks for coming on. First Favorite. You're on our other shows. You will be on future things because you're the homie. But tell everyone where they can find all your stuff, especially the new upcoming album, Gold.
Yeah. You guys can find me on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, social media, anywhere at MaJiK MC. It'll be placed down here somewhere. It's MaJiK MC. Or it's in the title. It's in the title of the name already. It's already in the title already.
It's easier.
MaJiK MC at MaJiK MC. Spotify, MaJiK MC. My first single, Gold as Fuck, is on there right now. And the Gold album will be put out through Spotify and all the other major streaming platforms, iTunes and everything. My first album, Death is Promise, is already on there. You can check that out right now, along with Gold as Fuck.
Thanks a lot, MaJiK, for coming through. You've been watching First Favorite. We hope this isn't your first, but if it is, we hope it's your favorite. I'm gonna think of a better tagline. That was bullshit. But we'll figure out something. Thanks for coming out, man.
Yes, sir.
All right, see you later, guys. Peace.